Hey guys, this is just going to be a short video about me explaining why you should take AP courses and really just explaining what AP courses are and what you should be expecting about them. This is all within the context of AP Physics 1 that we're teaching the freshmen, so that's kind of my audience for this. So AP classes, AP stands for Advanced Placement, which is just a division of College Board. College Board's a company that makes AP, they make AP, but they make standardized tests. And the whole idea behind AP tests is you sign up for an AP test, you take the test. If you pass the test, many colleges accept those things as credits. So, for example, I graduated my senior year of high school with a couple extra classes worth of credits, and that allowed me to skip some courses in college. For example, I got a 4 on the AP Bio exam, so that means that I passed it and I was able to skip at Rowan University. I was able to skip the health/bio gen ed that was expected of me. Another example is I got a 4 on my AP Literature exam, which again is passing, and that allowed me to skip Composition 1 in college, which is a writing class that everybody has to take. So basically, if you take the exams and you pass them, you're able to get college credit when you go to college, and therefore usually that means you can skip some classes. Or the other thing to note is that in order to graduate from college, you need a certain amount of credits, and if you have credits coming from high school, then that's less than you need to take in college. So the whole reason why you should take AP exams is because you are spending the exams usually cost about $100 each. You're spending about $100 to potentially skip out of a class that would cost thousands of dollars and the whole semester worth of time that you would be spending completing it. So it's really a very efficient way of knocking out courses that you're not really excited about taking in college, as well as saving money and time. So that's really the whole idea behind why you do it. Couple things about AP Physics 1 and what that course is. So AP Physics 1 is a college level physics class. It uses algebra, and the reason why I'm mentioning that is because there are other classes that teach physics through the use of calculus. Now obviously for my freshmen, you're not going to be using calculus, but you are going to be using algebra in AP Physics 1. And it's really all about what we call Newtonian mechanics, which is forces, energy, momentum, rotation, circular motion. There's a couple things at the end like circuits and waves, but we kind of touch on those very briefly. And then the rest of the physics kind of goes into AP Physics 2, which is more of like the waves, fluids, thermodynamics, optics, modern physics, and so on. So AP Physics 1 just focus on mechanics, basically blocks moving up and down ramps, things spinning in circles, throwing something up in the air and watching it come back down. Those are the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about in this class. And if you were to pass the AP Physics 1 exam, colleges typically, and here's the asterisk here, the college typically take that as a general lab science elective. And what I mean by that is, I was giving you examples about how I passed the AP Bio exam, and then that allowed me to get out of either a biology or a health class in college. Well, this is basically what we call AP translation, where it's the course that you take in high school will translate to some course in the college. And here's the thing, colleges can decide what they translate to, and colleges can also decide if they accept it or not. So AP Physics 1 and 2 are notorious for the fact that some colleges don't accept them, period. Some colleges accept them, but for just a general elective, like on your transcript, it would only say general science elective. It wouldn't give you a physics credit. It wouldn't give you physics 1 as a class. It would just give you a general science, which is still useful because it counts towards the credits that you need to graduate, but it's not as useful as taking, for example, AP Physics C Mechanics, which AP Physics C Mechanics would count normally as an AP Physics, or sorry, as a Physics 1 class, and they would give you credits as a physics class. So that's just an example there. I still think it's valuable to take the AP Physics 1 exam, even though some colleges don't accept it, or you don't get as good of a credit for it when it translates over, because number one, you guys are freshmen. It's a great opportunity to see what AP is like before you start taking other APs. The other thing is you can still get credit, which means you still have less to take when you go to college, and you can take more fun classes, or you can take other things that you're trying to squeeze in. Like I had a dual major, and I was able to do that in 4 years because of the credits that I came in from high school with. So those are just some examples there. Finally, I just want to talk about what it means to take an AP class in high school, and especially in the context of taking it as a freshman. AP classes are college level classes, meaning if you went to college right now and took an algebra-based physics course, this course should look pretty similar to that. So yes, you're taking it in high school, but it's taught at the college level. So it's very rigorous, and I have high expectations for my students. Another thing you need to understand about all AP courses is that at the end of the year, there's an exam, and that exam has a specific date, and that date is fixed, set in stone. And so I can't push the test back or bump it up. We have to be done by a certain time, and then we have to have time to review, and then we take the exam. So actually last year when I taught my AP Physics 1 students, I know with COVID-19 things were rough, but we actually finished, or would have finished, the content in April. So we actually only have from September to April to learn all the course content. And then from April to May, we review, and then the second week in May or so is the exam. The good news is, and you might have heard this as well, is that after you're done an AP exam, you have May until June, and typically AP courses at the high school level, it gets a lot more relaxed after that, right? You guys start doing projects, and it's not as stressful. So a lot of people like to have AP courses because they kind of finish in May. The other thing I wanted to tell you was for AP Physics 1 is that you guys are coming from Science 8. Science 8 is unleveled, and what that means is it includes all levels of students. So when you get to high school, there's a general level, which is the lowest, then there's advanced level, then there's honors, and then in some instances there's AP. For physics, there's general physics, which is conceptual physics, advanced physics, honors physics, and an AP Physics 1. So you're jumping from a class where it had everybody in it, the lowest level of students and the highest level of students, and you're going from that class to a class that only has the highest level in it. So you're going to be doing way more things, a lot harder things than you've been expected to do in Science 8. I would recommend right now not to use Science 8 as a predictor of what AP Physics is going to be like, because they are two different things. And that's all I'm going to say for that right now. I think the closest comparison that you could make would be to your math class, because your math class, you should be finishing honors geometry. That it's closer to that level of rigor. The only difference is there's more conceptual things and there's more writing in physics. So like, I know a lot of my students like to just plug things into equations, and they're good at calculating, and that's great. That's a skill that you're going to need in this class. But some students can like only do that, and they can't explain their thinking or say into words why you're doing one thing or another. And there's a lot of problem solving and critical thinking. So there's that. And then also different from honors geometry is that we're teaching to a test in May, so we have to go even faster. So there's that to think about as well. But I just really need to stress to you that the transition from 8th grade science to AP Physics 1 is very challenging, and every student expresses this frustration, and I'm trying my best to prepare you ahead of time for it by making videos, making a website, by providing you resources, having other students tell you what it's like so that you can mentally prepare. And that brings me to my last statements. I just want to make sure that you know, number one, I think that a lot of students, if you have the math and you've excelled at the math, I think a lot of students are capable of doing well in AP Physics 1, and I don't have an elitist view that, like, you know, only the smartest kids can learn physics. Like, I think physics can be learned by anybody. But having said that, I really need to stress to you that this class is hard, it is fast-paced, it is rigorous, and you're going to be doing things in this class that you have not been asked to do before, and it's going to take a lot of energy and effort, and it's going to be very uncomfortable in the beginning, especially. And it should get easier, but it really is rough. So I need you to be open-minded, but also prepared and ready to expect something different. If you are in AP because your parents signed you up for it, or you feel a social pressure to be in it because, you know, the smartest kids are in AP1 or something like that, I want to remind you of something very important. I know there's that pressure to be in the best of the best class, but being where you're supposed to be will be better for you in the end. So let's just say that AP is too hard for you, or you're only in it because you want to be just to have that society pressure resolved. The thing is that if you don't put your all into it, if you don't really want to be there, you're going to struggle, and unfortunately you might fail. And that's not going to be better for you if you're in an AP class and failing versus being in an honors class and succeeding. So please think about it. And there's no shame in being in honors physics as a freshman. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. Even advanced physics or general, you're still taking physics as a freshman. So I really want you to think about the decision to take AP, because it's going to require a lot more from you than it would if you were taking honors, advanced, or general. So, and obviously if you're watching this, you're probably either going to take AP or honors. So think about that very carefully before you fully commit to one class or the other. And there's no shame in dropping from AP to honors. And hey, there's also, you know, like if you're an honors kid watching this and you're like, hey, I think I can do AP, there's also no shame, obviously, in jumping between them. So I just really want you to be intentional with your decision, though. Don't just be there because your parents think that you can do it, or don't just be there because, you know, all your friends are in it. Make sure that you are aware that this class is going to require a special sort of effort and energy, and you're ready to put it in. All right. But I hope that this is kind of exciting, because you're going to have a chance to really be challenged and really be in a class that's looking at some cool stuff. And because we're doing such rigorous stuff, we can really look at some really, really cool physics concepts. And at the end of it, you might earn some college credit as a freshman. So that will be really cool. I'm really excited for it, and I hope that this video didn't scare you, but I hope that it prepared you and helped you understand, or at least start to think about, you know, your decision and what you want to do with the AP exam and the AP class. So talk to you guys later, and thanks.